Concerns over the federal government's proposed tax reforms continues to grow, with key stakeholders raising objections. From the Kano state government, the Nigerian Customs Service, and the labor unions, the debate intensifies over the impact of these reforms. The Kano state government is voicing strong concerns over sections of the proposed tax reform bills, which they say extend federal control over state and local tax agencies. Speaking at a public hearing organized by the House of Representatives Committee on Finance in Abuja, Umar Jallo argued that these provisions violate Nigeria's constitution.
It will be wrong to have such a bill or such an enactment that looks federal in outlook but also subsumes state interest in it. The fourth point, Mr. Chairman, is that, again, the Tax Administration Act, bills before it becomes act, has established there shall be established for state and local government certain boards. I think if you question the legal capacity and entitlement of the National Assembly to enact these laws, what right do they have to establish by fiat boards for states and boards for local governments? I think this is also a serious constitutional issue that I think is avoidable.
The state government also warned that proposed cuts to funding for critical national agencies, including the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TETFund, the Nigerian Information Technology Development Agency, NIDA, and the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, could significantly impact education, technology, and engineering sectors. On the proposed value-added tax, increase from 7.5% to 15% by 2030, Kano officials cautioned that it would worsen economic hardships and urged the government to improve tax collection efficiency instead of increasing rates.
We think that the tax system in this country is complex and cumbersome, that in spite of past reforms that we have had, that is still, administration is still weak, is riddled with inefficiency and corruption and poor governance and so on and so forth. So we are in support of the federal government for initiating the tax reforms. Having said that, Mr. Chairman, we are also saying that the House of Representatives and the Senate have responsibility to ensure that this is handled judiciously and responsibly, that whatever tax system we propose, whatever fiscal system we propose, is based on three key principles of justice, of fairness, and equity.
Also weighing in on the debate, the Nigerian Customs Service raised concerns about potential jurisdictional conflicts within the tax reform bills. Controller General Adewale Adeniyi warned that some provisions could effectively abolish the Nigerian Customs Service.
Observed that this is part of a wider effort by Mr. President to improve the business environment in Nigeria, make it more business friendly, and of course, more competitive. As a stakeholder, we, however, expressed some concerns in the document that we have sent. It's a 17-page document. I will make reference to some few sections where we observed jurisdictional conflicts between the provisions of the Joint Revenue Board bill, section 23 and 29 of the bill, and section 41A of the Joint Revenue Bill. Basically, these are jurisdictional conflict issues.
Meanwhile, the Trade Union Congress and other labor groups have strongly opposed the VAT increase, warning it would burden already struggling Nigerians.
The Union Congress of Nigeria have identified 4 key concerns with the bill. Number 1, gradual increment of VAT from the current 7.5% to 15%. Mr. Chairman and respected members, the TUC rejects the gradual increment of VAT from 7.5% to 15%. Our reason is simple. Allowing the value-added tax VAT rate to remain at 7.5% is in the best interest of the nation, as increasing it will place additional burden on Nigerians, many of whom are already struggling with the economic challenges and realities.
On the business front, Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas (NLNG) is advocating for a zero-related VAT on exports to boost global competitiveness. However, the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL), Mele Kyari, is expected to present the corporation's position on the tax reform bills before the House of Representatives on Thursday.
We will also like to mention that, and this is tied to the section to do with the Stamp Duty Act, we are of the view that agreements, contracts that are already subject to the value-added tax rules should not be subject to ad valorem value-added tax. Stamp duty, I mean. I think that is the other aspect I would like to talk about. In a way, it creates a form of double taxation if this area is not looked into.
Despite the growing concerns, the federal government insists the reforms aim to streamline Nigeria's complex tax system and increase public revenue. However, Kano State and other stakeholders say the process lacks adequate consultation and must be reconsidered. Aniti Patrick, Core TV News, Abuja.